Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Finally, the Russians did it, and they are not shy in showing it, like they did in 1960 with that U-2 pilot. If you remember that incident when the Americans said, "No, no, you did not shoot down a U-2 airplane, the spy plane over Soviet Union." And the pilot, I hope is. And what did the Soviets do? They showed the pilot on television. So the same thing here. The Russians captured an naval drone or Ukrainian naval drone or a boat, and they took a picture of it and they exposed it. So we are going to show you a picture offered by the Russians. So this article comes from the war zone, so it doesn't come from the Russians. Here it is. Ukrainian drone boat appears to have been captured by Russia. It was just a matter of time. I mean, as I always say, if you see it, if you can hear it, if you can smell it, if you can touch it, if you can all that, you're gonna capture one, you're gonna destroy one. I don't think Russia has much to learn out of this. It's not something that complicated. The only thing that probably they will disclose after closely inspecting it is that it has British, American, German, French pieces and parts. That's what I think is going to be revealed. And obviously, the tellers of the truth, which are the Western countries arranged here, are going to deny that. Well, at this point, it doesn't really matter if you hit me with a German tomahawk or you hit me with a German, French, American, or British. It's still a tomahawk, so it doesn't really matter. I know it comes from one of you. So let's see what these guys are saying about this new acquisition. All right, so a Ukrainian maritime autonomous guard unmanned robotic apparatus. Oh my God, Magura V5 uncrewed surface vessel USV. Now we get familiar with the terms. Has been captured intact by Russia in Western Crimea. Russian male bloggers are reporting on Telegram. Earlier today, I made a video using a Russian, I think it was Sputnik, or maybe Russia Today, and the Russians claim they eliminated 4 targets, 4 of this kind of boats. They didn't provide any video evidence, and maybe this is one of those attackers. So, images of the drone boat sitting totally intact on shore seem to support this claim. It was attempting to attack Russian ships in Western Crimea when it fell into Russian hands, end quote, the Russian Ministry informed Telegram channel reported. In commenting on the capture, the 2 major Telegram channels offered an ominous warning, and I'm quoting, "Soon a surprise will await the enemy," a seeming indication that Russia might work to reverse engineer this USV. My friends, do you really think, let's be straight, do you think that such a little boat is such a invention that the Russians were incapable of creating? I'm guaranteeing you that the Russians have these kind of things already, but use them against what boat? Ukraine? What about Ukrainian boats? They have them. Remember, the Russians send rockets in space, and they have ballistic missiles and have all kind of other stuff. That's a boat with a joystick, a camera, and a coordinated signal that receives from the satellite or whatever you use it. That's all it has. And a bunch of dynamite. That could be done by a high school guy. It's not something, oh my God, you're going to reverse engineer it. There's nothing to reverse. It's a camera that shows us if it hits the boat or not. And it's like a, remember those little boats that you could play on the little lake or pond, and you have it with a bzzz, the same thing, just go to the satellite. It's so garbage. But anyway, my friends, the Russians are so dumb again. People will believe that the Russians will just get this reverse engineering. No, the surprise will be something else. Probably they're going to send this kind of boats towards some other targets and claim those were Ukrainian boats. How about that? That would be something that, let's say you have this kind of boat hitting a commercial vessel in the Black Sea, and everybody will take a picture of it and will videotape it, and it's going to say, that looks like a Ukrainian goddamn boat. Because it was Ukrainian, but it was operated by the Russian bear behind the joystick. That's what the surprise will be. I'm almost guaranteeing that. Besides the fact that thing comes towards the Ukrainians will say, hey, that's ours. Boom. That's, I think, the surprise these guys are talking about. Neither the Ukrainian or Russian defense ministries have commented on the claimed capture of the Magura V5, which the war zone cannot independently verify. The capture of this vessel, however, could provide a boost to Russia's ability to counter these USVs, as well as to the development of their own. Are you idiots? These guys, whoever commented this in the war zone, isn't tired or something? I mean, do you really, the person who wrote this article and asked that question, rhetorical question, whatever it is, do you really think that the Russians are incapable of producing this kind of drone? Really? You either are a weasel or you're a dumbass. That means you don't know shit. Or a weasel, you know better, but you have to write that way. Again, a teenage guy nowadays, if you put all the materials available, he's going to be able to get you one of those. My God, I have to deal with idiots. All right. Development of their own. It would also mark the second known time the Russian has gotten its hands on a Ukrainian USV. As we reported in September 2022, an early version of a Ukrainian USV was found beached in Sevastopol. It was the first time we had ever seen a Ukrainian USV, and it was a month before Ukraine unleashed its drone boat campaign against Russian naval assets, starting with a massive attack on Sevastopol. This was it. Right here. Did the Russians come and they developed theirs, or they're still working on it? It's so complicated that they're just, oh my God, what are we going to do, man? How are we going to design this? This is such a garbage. Now they tell us whatever this Magura means is a 5.5 meter, 18 feet long USV with a range of 450 nautical miles. Now that, if that is true, that is a lot. A cruising speed of 22 knots and a burst speed of 42 knots, thanks to its water jet propulsion and still streamlined hull, according to Ukrainian military media outlets, sitting on half meter, 1.6 feet above the waterline, with a payload capacity of 320 kilograms, 705 pounds. The Magura V5 packs a significant punch in a hard-to-spot USV. That's correct. The company says it communicates via mesh radio with an air-based repeater and or SATCOM. But more on that in a moment. Okay. It is unclear when the Magura V5 was first used in combat, but it was introduced publicly in International Defense Industry Fair in Turkey in July, according to Militanari. Okay, well, what can we say? The Russians, I don't think for them this is just like a success that they were able to beach one. Now I don't know if they took control over it, or they hit something like the engine, or I don't know, nothing seemed blown up or something. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe a drone malfunctioned and just stopped functioning. The Ukrainians could not come and recuperate it. The Russians were first. I don't know. The problem is, the thing is, the Russians will get it, and I'm assuming they're going to say, well, it's made by the British intelligence. And that's it. And was provided to the Ukrainians. It wouldn't surprise me a bit. Actually, I'm expecting that. That's why I'm saying it. British and French and collaboration with the USA and Germans engineering, because it's so complicated. All right, my friends. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. And regarding the reverse engineering, I have to remind you the Russians build rockets, missiles, and airplanes, fighter jets, and other shit, and they can build something like that. Okay.